for Black girl nerds.
Hi,
Hey,
Ruairi.
Angelica.
Hi, Charlotte. How are you today?
We're good, thank
We're
you.
good. How are you?
Much for asking. So I'm super excited for part two. I don't know about you guys. I want to start, Charlotte. My question's for you. Charlotte, excuse me. Catherine is on fire this season. I am so impressed with her. You're welcome. You're welcome. She is just nothing but strength and grit. Tell me about developing your character for this season.
Yeah, do you know what actually I think is really interesting about Catherine in this season is like she totally is strength and grit and like fire in her belly, but also she's not afraid to crumple and to like she really feels a lot of emotions. And that actually I found kind of inspiring because I think there's a real strength when you're prepared to like wail, but with the knowledge that you're still going to survive, but that doesn't mean that like you can't really feel trauma. And that I felt I'm a very emotional person. So I found that like quite inspiring because there are times in my life where I'm just like crying on the floor. There are
Well,
some times.
you
And
always need to cry. A good
you know, if you cry and you know that like that doesn't mean that you're not strong, I think it's really important.
Great. Right, my question's for you. So Henry's always kind of portrayed as this like pompous jerk, to be quite honest. And you've kind of brought some vulnerability and kind of a little bit of sympathy for him. So tell me about what you did to bring that out of Henry.
Well, I just don't have the confidence to play someone who's pompous, on top of things.
That's not true. He's really good at playing that. It was a much more interesting version to play, like to understand why he acts like that.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
Probably. But I didn't have it in me. So that's the way it had to be played, through vulnerability and pain, which are all I have, really.
There was a point that like where you were deciding whether you were going to kill some people, and I remember Roy being like, I just feel so emotionally distraught about this decision, and I was like, dude,
Just kill someone. You're Henry VIII. Just kill someone. It's fine. Like, no, I have to find the pain, the Anakin Skywalker pain.
But that's what makes the performance for me really interesting. Is
and
that
indulgent,
it is
probably. As
not
well.
indulgent, but interesting because it feels really motivated. You know, like
Yeah, you bring the heart to the character. He's not just some figurehead. He is a human being. So I love that.
Thank you very much.
Next question I have for you guys. So part one was building your relationship and growing into love. Part two, we see kind of an ebb and flow. So a build and a dissolution. So tell me about how you guys prepared for your fights, your makeups. What was that like for you for this season?
How do we prepare for fights?
Do you guys get each other mad or?
I think that can just always be bubbling under the surface most of the time.
Yeah, we did do some play fighting before takes, but that didn't go down very well with continuity. No, but I do think it's that thing of like, it was really important in this season that Catherine and Henry, it's not just like a slow kind of like drudge into separation and misery, that they do like pull back and come back together and then tear each other apart, and that they're constantly like fighting for each other, even if it's not like obvious at the time. So that, I guess the thing that felt most important to me is that both of these characters really, really need each other. In the first season, they felt like magnets and they were like drawn to each other. And in that second season, they still have that like primal link between their stomachs, so that even when they're like tearing each other to shreds, they still like I still desperately needed Henry's approval, and so that I kind of tried to keep it in mind.
Yeah, because for me it wasn't from a place of apathy, it was always from a place of extreme love, and circumstances were making things very difficult for the relationship and making it quite toxic, which is really extra painful on top of things.
It's annoying. I think Catherine is like really annoyed that she loves Henry as much as she does. if she didn't, it would be so much easier to protect herself. But because she loves him so much, she puts herself in his way over and over again.
Right. I mean, you can see the love across the screen. There's no doubt about that. And it's just kind of sad to see it kind of fall apart, but then it comes back together. Another thing that kind of brings up a lot of pain. I mean, for me as a viewer is seeing the loss of children. How did you get yourself to that place? Because you could really see it across Catherine's face. Like, this is Rector. And then we have Henry kind of in and out. You know, he feels for her, but then he's upset with her at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was really important. Like, I've really, really worried about whether I'll be able to have children most of my life. Like, I have PCOS, so a doctor told me at 18 that it was going to be difficult. So it, like, that has been something that has occupied my mind for most of my adult life. And then I read a lot of books about women that had struggled with IVF and with infertility, and just really tried to like get into that mindset. But it felt to me something that was, I want to have kids, and I'm always scared that I won't be able to have kids. So that felt like it was a very easy thing for me to access, the fear of not being able to. But that's also why I think that this story's like really like, she's really important to me, because the struggles that she goes through, yeah, she's a Tudor queen, but they're the same struggles that women in 2020 are going through. And that I felt a huge amount of responsibility to do justice to that, but I also, the pain felt very real.
Absolutely. Well, thank you both so much. I can't wait for the rest of the season. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Better shake your booties for black girl nerves. Better shake your booties for black girl nerves.